first time on my channel, hi, welcome to Gabs with Abigail, where we talk about the Bates and Duggars and other D-list fundies. Today's a bit of a special because we're going to be talking about both D-list fundies and the Bates. So yeah, it's incredibly crazy. My ring light just broke. I finally just sorted it out with Walmart that they're going to refund me my money for my mic I never got, so I still don't have a mic, but I just can't wait any longer, I feel like, to put out this video because it's been about 3 weeks I think, since the video that made me want to post about it, to talk about, was sent to me and was on Instagram. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Big thank you to the subscriber who sent me this video. I really appreciate it. If you do ever want to send me something that you think I'd be interested in talking about, or that you think I haven't seen, please go ahead and send it to me. Somebody sent me a video, not a video, but like something about Clarissa. If you know, if you're into the funnies, I'll post it. And so I will at some point, yes, do a video about her. I just haven't had the time with everything that's going on in my life and what I have wanted to already post. But if you do ever have any like video ideas that you want me to talk about, feel free to DM me and let me know. But let's get into this video. Disclaimer. If your definition of racism is basically Dr. Martin Luther King's "I Had a Dream" speech, please stop watching this video now. If you think anytime a black person talks about racism, it is a victimhood mentality, please stop watching now. This is not a video for people who are more interested in being offended by the accusation of racism than understanding why whatever prompted the accusation was racist. Romans 3, verse 22 to 23 says, "Righteousness is given through the faith in Jesus Christ to all who believe. There is no difference between Jew and Gentile, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." In other words, stop pretending that very nice people can't have negative behaviors and attitudes about race. So the other day, like I said, like 2-3 weeks ago, I'm minding my business, and there's just this sudden urge to look at Soli's page. After I did the 5 terrible trad wife takes video, I unfollowed her because I feel like, why am I trying to provoke myself to be upset and talk to myself out loud in my house? So, but this day, just something like the Spirit of Jesus called me to look at this girl's stories. So I did, and what I saw was this post. Now already I was kind of annoyed with it because, one, it's ahistorical. I like history. I don't like things to be ahistorical. But it's ahistorical. That was my first reaction, was that it's ahistorical and they're using a caricature of black women for the second part of this. So in general, first wave of feminism would be the suffragettes. Second wave would be more akin to Rosie the Riveter, the sexual revolution, Betty Friedan, whatever. And then third wave feminism is what I believe that we're in right now. So just in general, this post was a bit weird to me. Kind of all right. And like I said, I was definitely bothered by the sassy black caricature that they used for the second wave feminism. Again, especially because this is ahistorical. Why are we using this? And in general, if this is a post about feminism is overwhelmingly white. So why are we using this particular photo with the caption, "We don't need men"? What are you trying to say about black women? So I decided to click through because this was a story that she didn't post from her phone, but from another person's page. So like most people on Instagram, I clicked into the post to go look at the other pictures on the page, just out of curiosity, because assuming that if she's posting this, that this is probably coming from the page of somebody that she's following. And I do kind of keep a record of other trad wives and things like that I want to just look at their content, maybe talk about in another video, use for something else as an example, blah, blah, blah. I just always kind of am interested in going to see what all is going on over there. When I tell you, when I got to this page, I was shocked. the amount of anti-Semitism and then just other like racism that was on this page, but particularly the anti-Semitism was what caught my eye first. Like when I tell you, not even like weird conspiracy theory stuff about Jews, like, which I guess maybe yes, that is what it is, but just blatant outright racism. Like the photos that they use, the caricatures, the Jewish stars, like it was ridiculously just bigoted racism. Nothing else to say about it. Like there's no other way to describe it, right? So again, the shock is that she would post this to her stories, and she left this post up on her stories for the entirety of the 24 hours. And I can't have been the only person who DM'd her telling her that this page is full of anti-Semitism. So either you're a racist, which in line with what red-pilled, incel, rumored, trad wives are adjacent to, or you're an incredibly lazy influencer. You have almost 20,000 followers. And then one of her homegirls, Bernadine Bluntly, also posted this picture to her Instagram. On her Instagram page in a permanent post. And see, my problem with that is this page came from a page full of racism and anti-Semitism. If you're racist, okay, makes sense, fair, got it, noted. But if you're telling me that you thought, after looking at that page, that this was the one needle in the haystack of racism that was an okay post, like, yeah, they got all that Jewish stuff wrong, but this one is okay. This one they got right. This one, there's no way that this post is meant to be propaganda or bigoted. Like, it's concerning to me that these are people who are homeschooling their kids. And the thing is that there's people who are going to justify this, who are going to say it's okay, it was a mistake, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It is a big deal. Look at the kind of message that's going to be internalized from this photo. It is such a slippery slope into extremism. So it's either that you're already there and that's why you felt this post was okay, or we're watching you make that slide. Disgusting. And you know what? While we're here, let's point out one more thing that Andre had to say on his Instagram, because he decided to be active on his Instagram again. And what Andre had to say was, somebody said something about Breonna Taylor. And he replied, right? Oh, she shouldn't have been hanging out with drug dealers then if she didn't want to get shot. I'm probably misquoting, but you can look at it. This is a Christian. This is a Christian. This is a Christian. This is the same Christian who went on his podcast and recorded that he's allowed to say those negative slut-shaming comments in the name of Jesus because Jesus told us to go from our sin. So when Breonna Taylor, who was broken up with her boyfriend, living a very different life, if we want to make the excuse, so you're hanging around with drug dealers so you can get, did she not go from sin, Andre? Yet you have the right to say that her life is less valuable. You have the right to say she deserved what she got. Disgusting, abhorrent, ignorant, bigoted. And this is going to fall on deaf ears because her page is blowing up. So it doesn't seem like, it's only up from here. Who am I but a small naysayer in all of this huge influence? But the fact that these people can't see through this kind of shit being toxic and dirty, that it stinks, is scary. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, so the baits. So I'm probably gonna look down for this because I have a lot of notes on this one. So the same week that Soli had posted this nonsense to her Instagram, the Bates decided to have a little party at the big house, I'm assuming to film content for their show, because they didn't say what it was. Esther and Nathan had come back from their honeymoon. Maybe it was for that. Who cares? Really not important. What happened was that at this party, they're playing charades. Cool, innocent, fun game with the family on teams. And Lawson is acting something out with Judson. And Judson's on the floor, and it looks like Lawson is like shooting him with like a gun. And so they're, everybody's guessing what it is. The answer is hunting, but even after that's screamed out, for whatever reason, Isaiah thought it would be a good idea to guess, was it George Floyd? Let's roll the clip.
Oh, he got it!
George Floyd!
Potato shooting, baby! Deer hunting!
Yeah, I got it.
Good thing he's on our team. He won.
Why would he say that? Why would that be okay? Everybody likes the Bates more than the Duggars for the simple sake that the Bates seem warmer. And now with the Josh stuff, okay, fine. All right. It's getting legitimate. But in my opinion, ignoring the Josh stuff right now, when I wrote this, the verdict hadn't come out yet. Nobody had made their statements. But ignoring the Josh stuff, I feel like when 2019 happened, or 2020, 2020. I'm sorry, I swear to God, all the years are like really blurring together for me right now. With everything that went on in 2020, I personally feel like the Duggars had a much better response to the whole George Floyd situation compared to the Bates, hands down. And nobody noticed because everybody likes the Bates better. So let's get into that. Let's I've been meaning, oh my God, Linda told me that I mumble my words and I just did it. Linda, you got to me, girl. But specifically, I want to focus on the Bates responses and why it's like, oh, it makes sense that Isaiah would say this. Because it is just so disgustingly brazen. The amount of contempt that it takes to guess out when somebody is being pantomiming shooting something, to guess a black man's life. If it had been somebody crying and Isaiah had guessed, oh, it's Anna Duggar and her kids, you would understand that that's inappropriate, right? You would understand the level of contempt that it takes for that person. So Isaiah is not going to get a pass for me for this particular microaggression because the Bates just kind of have a problematic race prop. And before anybody twiddles their little fucking fingers to type to me about Kelly Joe's black relatives, I want you to know I do not care. I'm going to say that again. I want you to know that I do not care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Because if it mattered, he wouldn't have said that. Period. I don't know a single black person who would guess George Floyd if they were playing charades and was in that situation. I don't know a single one. Me personally. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't know a single one who would guess that. Why would your mind go there as a funny fucking joke? As a joke. You said as a joke. Not even as a serious guess, as a joke. Like you knew that wasn't the answer. Cameras were rolling. Bro, cameras were rolling for the show. He guessed George Floyd. Like it was a joke. Like it was casual. Like it wasn't a big deal. And based on how the Bates reacted to it, like I'm not surprised that this is the kind of attitude that they would have. I'm not surprised when these are people who clearly value, as Christians, property more than they do actual lives. Because apparently when Jesus came to save, it was buildings. It was property. Things that might not have insurance. People are human. And they err. Nobody is perfect. But in my opinion, had we collectively bullied the Bates, that's Lawson, Traits, Carlin, and the main Bates page, about their responses to George Floyd back when we had a chance, we might not be in this problem. Isaiah might not be guessing George Floyd. Oh, and Aaron, I forgot about. don't let me forget about Aaron, because I got something for that app. On May 31st, 2020, Lawson Bates made this post, and Kelly Jo then posted it to her stories. She might have posted it to their Instagram page too. I will read it. What happened to George Floyd was a despicable, vile abuse of power that angers and breaks my heart. Those officers' gross disregard for humanity is the exact opposite of the oath I took as law enforcement officer to protect and serve my community and my country and every human equally. They should be charged and fully responsible for their actions immediately. I pray we all stand up whenever and wherever we can for the oppressed and unjustly treated, that justice and change is brought about, and that racism, bias, and abuse of power is eradicated. If instead of fighting for change, accountability, and justice for the innocent, you choose to destroy and harm other totally uninvolved, innocent people's lives, or promote others doing this, you are joining the evil of the original perpetrators. I know typing on social media isn't going to change the world, but each of us can change our own world daily by doing what we can to make a difference through love, compassion, understanding, and empathy. I'm praying for everyone tonight. Hashtag pray for humanity. Hashtag pray for justice. Hashtag pray for peace. Hashtag we are equal. I'm not going to get into Anna Duggar saying well said. Was this a post about George Floyd and his injustice, or about the destruction of property? And see, now actually, the people in those communities, those businesses, actually they are involved. Every single one of us is involved when it comes to racism if we want to eradicate it and root it out. You don't get to just say that this isn't my business, this doesn't affect me. I'm sorry that George Floyd died, but hey, sucks to suck. Actually, all of us play a part in this. If somebody wants to burn down your white business because they feel like, yes, you uphold and perpetuate racism, they can burn down your business because that's how they feel about you. Niggas have hung for trees for less. Okay? And see, the thing about this that is just such BS, in my opinion, is because less than 1 week later, Trace and Lawson were wearing thin blue line shirts down in Florida. Honey, what were you doing that was going to affect change, racism, and bias? That in a response at a time where people were feeling upset with the police were being called out for being racist, you went down to Florida and put on a thin blue line shirt. A thin blue, say that 3 times fast. It's just abhorrent to my core. My tongue won't even say it. A thin blue line shirt. But we're supposed to be practicing compassion, empathy, and a love for humanity. That's interesting. And then 13 days after that, after the original post, Lawson posts another picture of him in full cop regalia. And a long-ass caption about him being a police officer. Is this about you? I'm confused. I'm a little confused. This happened, and your immediate reaction was, how can I protect the police? How can I defend the police? How can I say not all bad cops? Interesting. Interesting to me. And then the Sunday after that, okay? This just kept going. It wasn't enough. This wasn't enough. The Sunday after they get back from Florida, the church that Carlin, Aaron, and I think Josie also attend had this message at the service. This is what white violence looks like. White people don't need to go out and burn shops. White people don't need to protest in the streets. This is what white violence looks like. It's going to church, right? When the police kill unarmed civilians, right? Cops get sermons praying for their protection. Or pastors ask the congregation to come in all blue to show support for the police. And Bible verses like this. Psalms 144, verse 1 through 2. Praise be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war, my fingers for battle. He is my loving God and my fortress, my stronghold and my deliverer, my shield in whom I take refuge, who subdues people under me. This was the principal Bible verse at a sermon about the police, after the police were in the news for killing unarmed black civilians. This is white violence. This is white violence. Don't tell me that you aren't racist, that you love everybody, that you're going to teach your kids to love everybody. You don't have to teach them about anti-racism, and you're going into churches. And instead of teaching them what the cop did was wrong, instead of making that the center focal point, the discussion being about racism, it's suddenly now turning into how people don't like the police. Oh, it's an attack on the police. Oh no, the defund the police movement. Like, I just don't even understand it. How anybody could look at this and think that this isn't weird, problematic. Like, and so imagine these are the types of attitudes that people are having while this is going on, right? So it's not surprising that Isaiah would make the George Floyd joke. It's not surprising. It's not out of character. What during this time have you learned? What have you been doing to unlearn your racism, right? Oh, I know this isn't going to just heal the world by posting. Yeah, you're right. It's not going to. What books are you reading? What conversations are you having? See, because misquoting MLK when you don't like wearing masks, Lawson, doesn't sound like somebody who's making steps towards a less racist, less bias-filled world. IMO. I'm so sick of hearing about because he's got an Asian girlfriend that he can't be racist. What the hell does that mean? So I sent this post to the Duggar Bates Confessions page, and the amount of white women in the comments saying, "Oh, I can't wait till things go back to normal," and, well, they have brothers who are cops, so that's why they'd be acting this way. Okay. And I have brothers and sisters who are black. Their brothers who are cops can take off their uniforms and live like civilians every day if they wanted to. Did Zach not in fact quit and stop being a cop? My people can't ever just take off their skin. You don't get to stop being black, right? You don't just immediately, I don't get to just take off my skin and be like, oh, nobody is going to look at me like the sassy black woman in Soli's post. Thank God, I can just quit today. Oh, like we don't get to do that, babe. We don't get to do that. This is white violence. This is white privilege. This is what it looks like. The mentality that you can have that, oh, I can't wait till this goes away and gets out the news. I can't wait till things go back to normal. I can't wait till George Floyd is a trendy punchline in a charade game. That's what we mean by white violence. You don't need to pick up a gun. You don't need to Kyle Rittenhouse anybody. You don't need a noose anymore. This is white violence. When you're complicit and okay with people having these kinds of attitudes and behaviors, when you think that George Floyd's life is allowed to just be a punchline in a casual charade game in your all-white house, that is racism. That is a microaggression. There is something when it comes to black people and their feelings and their humanity that you still need to be taking the time to learn. And I'm tired of the Bates getting to have a pass because people think that they're a more fun and friendly family. It's annoying. I'm so sick of talking about racism. Like, damn, if they were reading the books, if they were doing the work, I wouldn't have to be making these videos. I don't watch their content for that shit. Personally. I don't go looking for it in their videos. It's annoying and frustrating as a black person to have to encounter that in content that you're looking at. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. It's not something you want to do. It is so annoying to have people make you leave the comment that your only person, all of your personhood is in your blackness. No, the fuck it's not. And it's annoying when people have to boil it down and remind you that you're black and that you're different. When you're just trying to enjoy. You're just trying to enjoy the vibe. I was just trying to watch a little family party. Why did I need to see that? And I'm tired. I'm tired of y'all making excuses for this behavior when they should just change it. Stop coming and trying to tell me that I am the worst person in the world for bringing it up when they could just not do it. They could just do the work to not do that. I'm so sick of the excuse like, this is such a nice person. This is such a nice person. I appreciate that Zach, who I consider the real cop, and this is probably because this is a Lawson Bates hate account, and has retired since, and I feel like, why is that? What do you know about the police force that we don't know? Do tell. What made you quit? Yes, this is a big deal. Because it says a lot about what you think about people who die at the hands of the police. It says a lot about them. Why aren't their lives valuable? When we look at people like Andre, because you were involved in a criminal activity, is your life not still worthy in the eyes of God? Josh Duggar is a disgusting person, but do I believe that we have any right to take his life? No. Can we put him in jail for a very long time? Absolutely. But the dehumanization, the lack of value, the contempt is just really absolutely just disgusting. Do better. And we're not going to get an apology. This is just going to be a small blimp, right? Everybody's going to go ahead and big up them, celebrate them, blah, blah, blah. Why? Why aren't we holding them accountable for these things? I don't care how small it is. Again, I just want to reiterate that being a nice person doesn't mean that you can't have things that you still need to improve and learn and apologize for getting wrong. It happens. Period. Like, but what are you doing to not make that mistake again? That's the thing. Like, what are you doing to get better? Lawson Bates marrying an Asian girl is not him making steps towards being a better person and understanding racism and race relations better in America. You have to do the work. And I'm just tired of us making excuses for these people. I'm tired of people feeling like it's okay behavior. You can in fact change. You can in fact do better. Like, of course, these are nice people. So why wouldn't we want this for them? Why wouldn't we want to stop them from passing this kind of things on to their kids? But that's it for me. Thanks for watching this video. Next video is going to be so much more happier because we're talking about the Rodriguez, so I can't wait. But again, thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear what you have to say. If you're a subscriber, I kind of don't care if you're a casual person who's coming here to write something negative. But whatever, we love your engagement too, babe. See you for the next one.